I really hate that I'm the only good influencer in Pokemon. I'm the only person that'll tell you what's going on and expose the truth. And that truth is, Khu is a fraud. It was obvious before, but after the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Indigo Disc DLC, it's undeniable because Khu got so much wrong, flew too close to the sun, and just straight disintegrated, but the Pokemon community seems like they're catching on to it. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Reddit, a post about Khu that's negative, that has positive upvotes? Oh, he screwed up big for that to happen. So this post was Khu full of it. He said Heath was going to be in the DLC, and if I'm correct, Heath never appeared. Not in a flashback or even in person. Khu played way too many games this year and just straight out lied and misled people this cycle. Here's the secret. It wasn't this cycle. Khu has always been a fraud. That if you have insider information, if you have real leaks, you don't pad it out with riddles and tons of vague posts. If you have the details, you drop them. We saw that with the real leaker, Kaka. And they still kept it fun with playful memes and Bigfoot sighting level blurry images, but those leaks were real. However, you might be thinking, wait a second, isn't this out of character for the toxic and evil Pokemon community? No, it's not, because once this post started getting traction, it was removed. Suspiciously, after I started commenting and replying in the comment section, and after I posted on Twitter. Classic Reddit mods abusing their power whenever anything goes against their narrative and they must suppress the truth. Also, this peaked at a higher amount of upvotes and it's still been getting downvotes after getting removed. So now the Pokemon community was like, wait a second, the truth almost got out. All hands on deck, we need to lock this one down. And what's the reason? Submission has been removed for the following reason. Low quality, low effort. What? This includes repetitive media posts, basic game questions, random screenshots with no context, non-constructive discussions. How is this a non-constructive discussion? It actually opened up an incredible discussion, which is going to go further into the video to show the dozen things that Khu got wrong. This really just shows like the evil of Reddit and the Pokemon community. This person had a thought like, wait a second, I remember seeing something from Khu about Heath and you know, maybe he said something, I'm gonna post it on Reddit, but it really seems like we got played this time. So actually bringing a legitimate discussion, getting tons of comments and upvotes, and then nope, gets removed arbitrarily because that's just how the Pokemon community and Reddit is. And going into the comments, even with the proof that Khu is a fraud and got so much stuff wrong, people can't cope. I don't like to follow these leaks, and I can't judge the particular situation here. I mean, the situation has been given. Khu said that Heath was going to be in the DLC. He wasn't, unless you have like a secret super duper hidden cutscene of Heath being in the DLC. That's it. That's all there is to judge. Khu was wrong here. But for some reason, doesn't care about leaks, yet wants to play devil's advocate. Oh my god, this community is actually the worst. So to play devil's advocate, the Datamine found that Heath was meant to have dialogues at some point in development, so I can see insiders leaking an old iteration that ended up being scrapped. That's absolutely not what happened. You're not an insider if you're just reading a publicly posted Datamine, and that also exposes Khu being a fraud the entire time. He just does research. And I'll actually give Khu some credit here. To have such a massive grift, he has to be the most researched person we've ever seen in the Pokemon leak community. He has dug into the Datamine, into every post, into every speculation thread, more than anyone else to try to be as accurate as possible in their predictions to keep this grift going. However, if you miss on something in the Datamine that doesn't end up in the game somewhere, it exposes you as a fraud immediately on the spot. That you're just doing crazy amounts of research and diving into other posts and trying to get like the most likely speculation. But even then, you know, it's not insider information, so you still have to make it kind of vague, cover some of the other angles you might have discovered in your research, and that's how Khu operates, and it's proven right here. But again, somehow the idiots in the Pokemon community, they just don't understand. Like, there's no devil's advocate here. He read the Datamine, all in, you know, put his chips on the table and said Heath is going to be in, and then it wasn't, because he's not an insider. We do literally have a conversation with a dead person from another timeline, so that could have been originally intended to be Heath. 53 upvotes. How can anyone be so stupid? The game is out. We know the complete reality of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Also, in the past with Pokemon games, there's all kinds of things in the data miner. There's all kinds of unused text and items and stuff like that. So it's not like, oh, this only happened for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Khu was going to be right all along. No, this is just how Pokemon operates. But somehow, like, reality isn't good enough for these people because they can only live for the fake leaks that they've attached their entire identity to because they're completely worthless. So they go to Reddit to cope and then downvote the truth, and it keeps on going. Like, they keep speculating. Perhaps the original idea was us meeting Heath and inspiring him, and not the professor instead, a full close-ended paradox. That's plausible. It's not plausible! The game's out! That never happened! That was never a thing! That is a complete fabrication of your ill mind! But there is one good thing about this post having more upvotes than downvotes. The NPCs will then have their brain rewired into thinking, wait, it's okay to say what I've been thinking now about Khu because I didn't think he was real either, or I don't like him for whatever reason. So, isn't Khu a massive dick? Somehow just like Khu being weird is more upvotes than the truth of how he's a fraud, but whatever. So yeah, he's a creep. He's also kind of racist and transphobic. If this is what it takes to go against Khu, then sure. Yes, and yet people here foam at the mouth waiting for his next clue. I mean, again, like, finally, people are saying it, and it's getting upvoted, and it's more than just one person, because, like, yep, there we go. Khu missed enough, guys. You can now come out, yeah, come out of shadows. There, you two, you over there, yep, it's okay. It's safe now. You can say that Khu was wrong. There we go. So now that's happening, but then, yeah, like, that's just social media brain rot, huh? I remember when the PokeLeaks sub was full of that stuff, yet they have a rule where you're not allowed to criticize him. Every time I've pulled up something from the Pokemon Leaks Reddit, it's just like the most weirdo thing. So that's actually insane. Like, the echo chamber of Pokemon leaks and just the complete detachment from reality. But no, Verlisify is the bad guy in the Pokemon community. If I recall, he was reliable early on for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but even I noticed that for the DLC, it sounded like he was just saying random things and then figuring out dumb ways to not admit he was wrong. He still wasn't reliable for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like, that's the thing about reliability. Reliability means you can trust on it, you can rely on it to be somewhat accurate information, you know, a 90% plus track record. Khu's the opposite. Making 100 posts that are just like vague schizo nonsense and then having a few things kind of be extracted from that is not reliability. And whatever bit of real information Khu got his hands on, he made worthless by making too vague, as we saw with Kaka, and that's how every Pokemon game works. There are real leaks for major Pokemon games. We have the starter Pokemon leak for Sun and Moon. We had the Chinese forum leak that was like, yeah, there's gonna be the rugby monkey and the werewolf Pokemon. That was actually like really fun and really cool. Also the snowman Pokemon. Then we had the Rainbow Rocket leaks. Then we had the Let's Go leaks, the Affleck leaks. So there could be tons of game information that gets out early, which is why the Pokemon leak community then goes insane and just believes every fake forum post and every grifter that comes along. So Khu could have gotten his hands on information. It's kind of explained why, I think later on in this Reddit post, how he did it. But because Khu is a sad cretin, whatever little real information he got a hold of, he had to pad out for the attention that he is desperately craving, and it worked, because the Pokemon community is that stupid. But now we can actually get into the misses. He dodged taking responsibility for saying there will be shiny Spectrier by saying, oh, they weren't ready to do it, I guess. Everything is a walk back when he gets it wrong. The correct answer is IV adjustment. Originally, there was an NPC who could make a Pokemon Speed IV become 0, but it got scrapped. Darn. You know, Khu is actually just the God Insider. He worked on the games. He's a direct translator or something. Everything that he said was actually going to happen, but it just conveniently got scrapped every time he missed, which is dozens of times at this point. But yeah, you know, he says like, oh, PK Hex feature. Except, no, PK Hex feature and 0 IV adjustment are two completely different things. Also, there's that post where he took the girl with pink hair and said, she's the puzzle queen, and then later posted, how did you like her quiz/puzzle? No, there's no puzzle to rubbing a Granbull's belly or anything about that. We already knew that they were going to have gym challenges for like their Elite Four challenge, so he just took the official information, speculated on it with something like, well, one of them is going to be a quizzy type, and she kind of looks like it, and it kind of subverts against Amorous. But because Ku's a fraud, he got it completely wrong. Same thing with this. Wait a second. We can shiny hunt Dynamax adventures. We can shiny hunt the other legendary Pokemon features that have been available for every generation. There's no way they're going to shiny lock the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet one because there would be riots in the streets. Oh, it got shiny locked. Never mind, no shiny Spectrier. And then claiming there were going to be more Terra forms for Pokemon. So now the flood has come in. People are like, wait a second, here's what got wrong. Wait, I remember him getting this wrong. This has been the entire case for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, for Pokemon Legends Arceus. The problem is that there was never like a platform for people to actually post and dig back into. The problem is almost the entirety of the Pokemon community is stupid, and they have confirmation bias where like when Ku gets 1 out of 10 things kind of right with his vague post, then they just say, yep, Ku was 100% right, he is accurate, he has it all figured out, he is now completely credible, when the reality is not even close to that. But no one's actually going in, taking all of his posts, documenting them, and then comparing them to reality when it comes out. His Scarlet Violet info was pretty reliable, but he's been full of crap with the DLC. You can't call something pretty reliable. It's either reliable or it isn't. And showing what happened with the DLC just kind of goes back and proves how much of a fraud Ku was the entire time, and also how much he missed with Pokemon Legends. Like, now no one's talking about that, because he did that post with, like, Palmer and Looker, saying, like, it's going to have something to do with the update, and then none of that ever happened with Pokemon Legends. And then the infamous picture riddle with all the things, almost all of that wasn't in the game. Like, congratulations. You put a collage of random images, and you get a snail ring and a heart cloud. And that also reflects on how a lot of the riddles are just fan service plays that Game Freak is kind of getting more and more likely into feeding. Yeah, a regional variant for Goodra. More likely than a regional variant for some other random Pokemon, so you put that in the collage and there's just a better chance that happens. Ku also got mad when a beta player named Kaka came out and leaked everything about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. He said we were being spoon-fed. Like, bro, no one wants to read your stupid riddles that don't make sense half the time. Finally! People are saying it. Like, that's just the reality of it. And when you have to say something like don't make sense half the time, that means that's not a credible or reliable leaker, but then people still eat it up. It also shows that the fraud is threatened by real information because it's stepping on his grift, and it's also just completely exposing it for the grift that it is. That doesn't stop bad actors like A-Drive from covering everything that Ku says and being like, credible leaks, real leaks, and then just completely clickbaiting it. When A-Drive doesn't care about the discussion, he is deliberately lying for the views. He is exploiting children for money. That is A-Drive's entire grift now. But the Pokemon community is stupid and toxic, so that's okay, I guess. Verlisify bad for some reason. Ah, yes, also the classic. Diplin's evolution will be Bug Dragon multiple times. Didn't happen. And then it stayed Grass Dragon. I don't think he ever said it would be Bug Dragon. He definitely posted a few riddles designed to let people draw that conclusion, but there was always enough plausible deniability left for that interpretation to be wrong. It's annoying, because if the only major leaker in this town is going to waste time on troll posts, then what's the point? It's clear Ku is just in it for the ego trip. But how can you say he's just in it for the ego trip and then call him a major leaker? And then, like, not just say, like, oh yeah, this proves that... Like, the only extraction from the statement is it proves Ku is fake. If you have to make your post so vague that there's plausible deniability when your likely speculation doesn't happen, or you have to walk it back, it shows that you aren't a major leaker or a leaker. You are just fake. 99.9% of leakers are full of it. Good rule of thumb. They aren't actively showing you the leaks. They're talking out of their rear. Finally. Also, small but decent amount of upvotes if this thread didn't get, like, purged by the mods for being the truth. Maybe we could have actually seen something happen. But not a crumb of actual proof or evidence from Ku, just spoon-feeding pointless riddles to act mysterious and like he knows a ton of insider information. Meanwhile, he probably just speaks, reads Japanese, and gets his info from Korokoro. Kind of tripping at the finish line there because that's not what's happening, but he's going to the Chinese forum where, like, leaks have come from sometimes, but it's just 4chan. But then we have more idiots, at least their upvotes are lower, except the clock isn't right twice a day. It's wrong every few weeks. No, he is frequently... Like, you can actually set your clock to how consistently wrong Ku is. You choose to blindly follow the word of a random dude on the internet with no credentials who is incorrect more often than not. Facts. That's fine by me, but it doesn't mean I need to also believe the nonsense. Some more egregious moments have been baiting shiny legendaries when they ended up being locked in the DLC, claiming there was going to be DLC for Pokemon Legends Arceus when there never was, and then constantly saying he was trolling whenever something turned out to be wrong. So we have this post from Khu that Centro covered. You need to complete the Hisui Pokedex to catch Arceus. It will take a long time. New stat system, no abilities, no held items, no breeding. Wait a second. All that stuff was in Pokemon Legends. That means Khu is the prophet and he is an insider. No, wait a second. Khu walked all of that back. That he said, ha ha ha, I trolled you, Centro. This is all lies. I baited you, ha ha ha. Because this is like when the beef between Khu and Centro started. So it really shows that like, oh, Khu plays for the safe popular opinion stuff. But Khu is such a fraud that when he lies, it actually turns out to be more accurate than his vague post. Because that was like the only time we got direct information from Khu, but he immediately said, nope, this is a lie, this is fake, I trolled Centro. But then, like, if that's the double troll, then it means, yeah, Khu has no credibility whatsoever. He just threw it all away in that one moment, even if he was an insider. Not saying he's a good guy, he's a piece of trash, but he's the best leaker in the Pokemon community. The idiot just cannot cope. Again, like, this whole thing proves how he isn't a credible leaker or a good leaker at all. Has shown to be a reliable source more than enough times. Except not. And then Pokemon DLC was just a huge miss. My only complaint, not the complaints about missing from Pokemon Legends Arceus or Pokemon Scarlet and Violet being way too vague and cryptic and just nonsense to actually have any information be extracted from. My only complaint is that he hyped the DLC way too much for what we got. He lied. Lying is not hyping anything. And then here's what I'm talking about. I think Khu gets all of his info from a Chinese game hacking forum, and even I came in with the correct. So it's one of those things where, like, just because it's a Chinese game hacking forum doesn't mean that it's going to, like, be accurate or credible. That's when I said, like, oh, it's effectively just like the Chinese version of 4chan when it comes to fake Pokemon leaks. Sometimes the real leaks land there. And then that's why Khu just makes a million vague posts. He takes the fake leaks from the Chinese 4chan and then just, like, you know, kind of makes them vague, kind of seeds in his speculation with that, and then when one of them gets a hit, he has the script, he has the Affleck leaks, he has this random obscure post that almost no one else knows about that he can then start making more vague riddles off of to try to pad his information to get some kind of prediction out of. He just riddles fake Pokemon leaks that seem more plausible than others until he finds his Chinese leak. So, Rowlet, Lit, and Popplio evolve into an Archer, Wrestler, and a Siren, in addition to Salandit, a new Pokemon based on a Mushroom, Dolphin, Sea Cucumber, Snowman, and some sort of Rugby Monkey. Also, Rockruff will evolve into a Werewolf. So, like, when you have this thread, or like you found someone that actually is leaking from the games, then you can really build upon that. And again, Kaka and all these other leaks prove that information does get out. But Khu is not an insider. He is not an actual leaker. He is sourcing leaks from sketchy places at best. And then when that runs dry, he has nothing but data mines and his deranged speculation. We have another idiot, or take leaks with a massive grain of salt. That's not what a leak is. A leak is a confirmed bit of early information. It got out early. It leaked. He may have a good track record at saying what is in the games, but that doesn't mean that things can't change. Well, no, he's never had a good track record, so those things never changed. And if you're taking why are you giving attention to anyone or any kind of like fake post where you're just like, yeah, take it with a grain of salt? These are the idiots that follow A-Drive, where it's like, well, A-Drive said could be real, could be fake, so therefore it's okay. This is just a discussion. Except the reason why they're called leaks and rumors is because saying like, oh, discussion based off of a fake 4chan post or random post isn't going to get as much attention. These people are worthless. Khu has been wrong. Set off a chain of misunderstandings about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet by putting out the myth lie that time travel wasn't in the game, and it's a wish from a wish-granting Pokemon, Terapagos. None of that panned out. Even more, oh, so that's the wish theory. Crazy. Or dream theory. Khu had some accurate information on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but also got a lot wrong, especially when it came to the DLC. At least this person can acknowledge he also got a lot wrong with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Remember how they kept hinting that Tauros was going to be a regional form that was a Minotaur? Then backtracked, implying it was meant that he was always implying Tauros would be a fighting type. You know, every prediction for the DLC was wrong. Yeah, just awful. But yeah, that's most of it, just kind of talking about the many times that Khu was wrong, and then showing the idiots that just can't cope with that fact. Also the people, like, showing how Khu was wrong, still not being able to cope in their own way. So, everything just kind of stupid and weird, and I've been calling this out about the Pokemon community, specifically for leaks, over the last couple of years, and now this is like how insane it's gotten. The Pokemon community, so fake, toxic, and filled with idiots that you're not allowed to tell the truth about fake leaks. Insane. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.